how to look for literature, related literature and related studies. So on Wednesday, we are just going to talk about how you are going to draft and write your literature review. So again, this afternoon, we are going to talk about how you are going to write your rationale and your theoretical background. So rationale. Okay, so this is the first thing that you have to write, guys. And what is rationale, by the way? So rationale, it's pronounced as it is pronounced as rationale, not rationale, not rationale. Is a structured reasoning why the study must be conducted. So I need you to put that in your mind, people, that um, your rationale um, gives justification for the readers to really understand why there really is a need to conduct the study. So you have to convince the readers nga aning nga parts in your rationale. This is where you are going to convince the readers that there is really a problem when it comes to this topic, and this problem must be addressed the soonest time possible. So mo na siya ang inyong tone sa inyong rationale. You should be informative and also persuasive in providing information regarding the problem of your topic. For example, online gaming. So unsa may problems sa online gaming? There are so many students or so many people who are addicted to it. So the problem there is the addiction. So you can in your rationale you can discuss about um, addiction and how worse or how bad the problem is when it comes to online game addiction. Now, I hope you guys are taking notes right now because again, people, kaning inyuhang makatunan, there is a practical research one, can also be applied in your practical research 2 as well as in your 3I. If in your 3I, you would be required to write research. But ultimately, sa practical research 2 ninyo, you would really gonna have to write another research, which is next sem quantitative na mo. But your teacher, it's not a guarantee that by next sem tudluan Japon mo unsaon pagsulat ang rational, theoretical background, etc. Because it is already expected that you guys already know about these things since this is taught here in practical research 1. So as much as possible, keep your notes, download whatever you can download and save it para inyo aning magamit pa next sem. So here are the steps in writing your rationale. First, of course, introduce the variable or the topic. Do not be confused if ever I would say variable. I just mean topic, okay? A variable or topic is just the same. Variable in research is anything that you measure, um, manipulate, or explore in research. So it's just the same with topic. And in qualitative research, we tend to use the term topic instead of variable. But in case I would say variable, then you'd know what it is. Okay, it just means topic. So introduce it. Then provide statistics. Now, statistics would serve as your evidence that the problem is really existing, not only in isolated places, but also in different places around the globe or in other parts in the Philippines. So later on, we'll be talking about more of this, no? But again, one of the most important elements that you can put in your rationale is the statistics. Kani ang siging pangitaon sa inyong mga panelists and even your future readers. So don't ever forget to put statistics. Then you also have to identify the research gap. Now, the research gap is something that other researchers or past researchers have not explored yet. And it's something that other studies do not have that your study is trying to explore. So you cannot actually identify the research gap if you are not going to read, no, if you're not going to have massive reading about your topic or massive reading of past researches about the topic. So you would not be able to identify, of course, kung unsay kalahian sa imong study dito sa ilaha, unsay something nga naa sa imong study nga wala sa ilaha. Because remember that in research, people, um we not only fill in the gap of knowledge, but also we have to provide new information or contribute to the body of knowledge. So it would be useless if you are going to conduct a study and it would not provide us with newer information or with a different information from other past studies or researches. So mo na nga, you have to really identify and tell us here's a rationale kung unsay gap sa other nga studies, unsay wala sa other nga studies, so that you are filling it up using your research. Then lastly, state your overall purpose. Now, like what I said earlier, the first thing that you have to do is to write your introduction, or you write the definition. Probably no, you introduce the topic by defining the variable or defining the topic. For example, online game addiction is your topic. Then you may start your rationale by defining what is online game addiction. And you can also provide situationer. So, pwede nga mauna ang situationer, pwede sad nga mauna ang definition sa variable. Either is fine. Okay? Na ma'am, na ay ganahan mo sud. I did not see any requests here. Please let that person, kinsa man ganin ang ganahan mo sulod, please let them rejoin or re-request the koan, the meeting. Re-request to join the meeting because I don't see any requests here. Anyway, so going back in your, again, the first few paragraphs of your rationale, you can first either define una ang variable or topic, then provide situationer, or maguna ang situationer before nimo before ka define sa topic. So, by the way, when we say situationer, guys, it's more like a stepping stone, or not really stepping stone, but it's more like um Murabitog, you are trying to tell us or describe the situation, the current situation that we are in. For example, there is a Cebu, no, or trying to murabitog set up the mood of your writing para it would be ready to discuss your argument, or it would be ready to discuss the topic, no. So, di ba, most of the time, especially in writing essays, di ba? Di man ka mo diretso og talk about sa body jud, no? O unsa jud imong gusto, di ba? You still have this introductory statements, etc. So this is the same thing with introductory statements. Provide situationer. Most of the time, recently, ang gamiton nga situationer jud, no, is about pandemic, since this is really what what's relevant. For example, your studies about online class. Now, you would before you can write about online class, or before you right away discuss about online class, probably you can talk about um, since pandemic came, no, the education system has to adopt the online modality, etc., etc. So that's an example of a situationer. Later on, I'll also gonna show you some more examples on how to format, or how to so that you will be also guided on how to write your rationale. Then provide statistics. Now, statistics refers to the numbers that would emphasize the severity of the concern. So going back to the example earlier, diba, I gave you um, online game addiction as an example. So basically, for us to really give an evidence that na, online game addiction is not an isolated case, or is not an isolated problem that is only felt by a very isolated place. Now we have to provide statistics, no, international, national, and local, para atwa mapakita sa inyong readers that this is really happening, or this is really a problem, and this problem needs to be addressed soon, because not only there's dili kay gamay lang ang naka-experience ani, but a lot. For example, you may come up with like um, pila ka millions na ang himong addicts in online games, etc. So basically, this would tell us, no, and this would definitely convince other readers, no, or your readers, that ay worse bad, this is how bad the problem is, o nani jud ay ka problematic ang problema when it comes to online games, or whatever topic you have there. Then next, of course, once you're done, oh, by the way, kanang tulo ka buok statistics jud ang inyong pangitaon, international, national, and local sources of statistics. What do you think, guys? Which do you think among these three, which do you think is the most important?
International.
International.
International. How about the others? What do you think, guys? Others say international. It's actually the local, guys. Because this is where we can best relate to. Okay, when it comes to the problem, when it comes to the severity of the problem, and like what they said, no, you have to look at your backyard first before looking out to other people's or to your neighbors problem or backyard. No, you have to look at the speck of your eyes. You have to look out for the speck of your eyes before calling out someone else's peck. No, so basically the local is the most important thing because this is the diri ta mas makarelate nga context. For example lang, when it comes to the problem in traffic, no, in general traffic, no, it could be traffic jams or any traffic violations, most usually violated by people. Now, um if atong source is international, like for example adto ka sa Western countries, no? For example, Europe or US, no, dili kay sila makarelate sa atong problema, which is more on what traffic jams or unsa man mga bati kay nato nga mga public utility buses, etc. So they cannot actually we cannot also relate to their problem when it comes to traffics because most usually lahi ato ang kuan, no, lahi ato ang context sa traffic problems here. And in Manila, although Cebu and Manila is quite progressive and they may actually have almost the same problems when it comes to traffic, no? Which is traffic jam. But dili pud ta kayo na makarelate sa normal nga traffic, no, dito sa Manila because in Manila, before COVID, of course, na before quarantine, ang ilang delays when it comes to traffic jams is more like 2 hours, 3 hours, and na nakadugay, especially itong wala pa na human or wala pa na rehabilitate, wala pa na kuan ang EDSA, no? But and here in Cebu, kung panalitan, ma-traffic man gani ka, most likely mga pinaka-maximum siguro 1 hour, 2 hours. Dito maabot og 4 hours, 5 hours. So that's again dili ta makarelate kaayo sa ilaha. So we have to it's very important that we have to look for local nga mga statistics. But the problem here is that when it comes to local statistics, ang pinakalisod sa pangitawon is ang local statistics. So you really need to be patient and you really need to have massive readings for you to come up with local nga mga statistics because that's the most important statistics that you can find. Then identify the research gaps. Like what I said earlier, your research should provide something new that other studies do not have. No, and also look into whatever is not yet explored in their studies. Then you can incorporate that, or you can decide kung ganahan ba ka no nga i-include na sa imong study para you can provide something new. So of course you have to ask yourselves, no, what problems have not been addressed by existing studies? Unsa pa may mga wala pa na explore sa mga past studies? Kaya for example, online game addiction, daghan naman jud guys kata ng mga nag-online game addiction, but what is it that other studies did not touch or did not explore? So it may also be possible that these established studies have failed to provide conclusive findings in investigating the chosen topic or missed aspects under the topic and therefore had not been explored. No, so sometimes in their conclusion, if they failed to really provide comprehensive and a good conclusive findings for the topic, they would actually put that in their conclusion or somewhere in their abstract, no, so or recommendation. So pwede na ninyong mahimong gap. Um, Also, you may look into the setting, no? Kay posible man nga yes, nag-conduct sila studies, phenomenological studies about online game addiction, for example. But um, wala sila kayo nag-focus into senior high school. So that's something missing. Wala sila participants from senior high school. Now, in your study, you will be focusing on senior high school students. So that's the difference between your study and the other studies, and that's something that other studies do not have, that your study is focusing on. Or let's say for example, so that's for participants. Let's say for example, sa setting, um, pagtanaw nimo sa mga past researches conducted about online game addiction, um, kuan kay siya no, more on international no, wala kaayo diri sa Philippines kung naamang gani general or nasa Luzon, but you can um, your study is focusing on Cebu nga setting. So that's something that probably not covered sa other nga studies, but in your study is covered. Something like that. No, so these are your research gaps, and you have to, of course, tell us what research gaps are you trying to fill in diri sa inyong research. Then, of course, state the overall purpose. This is also one of the most important elements of your rationale, aside from statistics, because this is how we can tell your readers of um, why, or what's in it for them, what's in it for all of us. If you find out the experiences, or if you have explored the experiences of these students who are addicted to online games, so what no, so what man kung mabaw-an nimo ilang experiences. And this is also where you are going to tell us about the overall goal of the study or purpose of the study. So you provide a bigger picture. No, it's different from your objectives. Your objectives tell us what the study is trying to get, no? But the overall purpose would tell us what's in it, what would be the benefit, no, if ever you would be able to explore the experiences of these students. So these are the four elements that I will be looking into when I check your rationale. And this would also serve as your guide when you write your rationale, para dili mo magubot or dili magubot inyong mga ideas. No? So you can organize your ideas using these guidelines or these elements. So first, introduce, then provide statistics, provide the research gap, and then state the overall purpose. Okay, questions?
None, Miss.
None? All right. Then I'm gonna show you a sample of a rationale. Bear with me. Okay, here. Okay. Can you guys see it? I'm currently sharing a file.
Yes,
So
Miss.
this is online gaming addiction and its effects to academic performance to senior high school students. This is their rationale. Now, if you're going to analyze the rationale, guys, they started with um, situationer. Now, with the restrictions of outdoor activities due to COVID-19 pandemic, it can be observed that more and more people are immersing themselves in video games, etc. So this is more like the kung ano situationer, although lengthy ilahang situationer, um but in your case, guys, you don't really have to have this very lengthy situationer. You can just have one paragraph for the situationer, probably to discuss or to describe the current situation, and of course now to provide introduction as well. Now next to that, now as you can see in the next paragraph, this is where um the authors, or the researchers discuss the definition of online game addiction. No, they define it as um what do you call that, as an alarming disease, um and also disease for mental health, no, or illness. And then basically, They mentioned that it shares the same features with gaming disorder due to psychoactive substances or with gambling disorder. So it's really alarming. So this is how, again, guys, you don't have to really have three paragraphs for the introduction of your topic. You can just have one paragraph as long as it's kanang kung ano comprehensively discussed and nindot jud siyang pag-discuss ninyo. And it's clear. Dili kay nagbalik-balik. So once you're done, no, that's the introduction nga part. Although lengthy siya, but I actually like this still because it's very comprehensive and organized jud ilahang thoughts. Then followed by the international nga statistics from WHO 2020. They classified again gaming disorder as a disease under mental health in 2020, and they described it as an uncontrollable gaming preference to gaming or over sorry preference to gaming over the daily activities, including school activities and assignments. Then that is the international nga statistics, no? This is the international statistics. WHO is an international organization, and this one is the national statistics. Additionally, the rise of excessive online gaming is emerging in the Philippines with 29.9 million gamers recorded in the country, according to Labana et al. 2020. It was further proved in the study conducted by Ferrer 2019, which revealed that Filipino students' absences, tardiness, and other behavioral problems that also resulted to failing grades and very poor academic performance is highly associated to their addiction to online games. The Department of Education 2019 had urged the parents to monitor students' activities outside school, especially that they have this report now from computer and gaming shops that 65% of the Filipino students have worsened GPA as they increase the immersion of online gaming. No, so kalala. Through these statistics, we were able to understand the severity of the problem when it comes to online game addiction. Then so we started with international. So nana ang inyuhang dapat ang inyuhang organization from international down to national, then local. Don't forget about these statistics, yun, guys. Okay, these are very important. So, moreover, youths in Cebu are no exemption to this. It can be greatly observed that there are more and more students addicted to video games, with an increasing number of students who are reported to have neglected studies because of this. Department of Health released a result from the conducted survey in 2019, revealing that Cebu is one of the provinces that has the most number of students with computer game addiction and has gaming disorder. So on ana siya, even especially no that it was mentioned that Cebu is one of the provinces that has a very huge number of um, computer addicts and students with gaming disorder. So as you can see here, by looking at these three paragraphs, we would definitely understand the severity or the 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 intensity of the problem when it comes to the topic, no? So that's what you should also do in your. I'm not saying, guys, nga inyo ang palabian sa dira no og palami dira ang mga data, no, but of course you have to be objective and provide whatever statistics that you can that you can find to describe the problem when it comes to the topic that you are choosing. Moreover, napaday dito rin, oh. Then next, although there are numerous researchers who previously conducted the studies on the impact of online game addiction to students' academic performance, there are only very few studies that focuses on students' senior high school. So, unsa man niya siya nga part, guys? What do you think is this part? Unsa man niya siya nga elements in your rationale?
Research gap.
Very good. This is the research gap. As you can see, no, you mentioned that yes, there are so many studies conducted na about online game addiction, but they were not able to focus on. There's no specific, probably no, or there's very limited studies that focuses only on senior high school. Also, most of the recent conducted studies only focused on students' level and their experiences in online game addiction, but not really on how online game addiction impacted students' academic performance. So if you have noticed, guys, Yangi mentioned that ano, recent conducted studies. So that could also be your gap, guys. Pananglitan, in your pagtanaw ninyo mo sa mga past researches, no? Yes, na pari-parihas sa imong objectives, but 1990s pa or 19 forgotten pa. So you can also have that as a gap. Kaya nga naman, surely there is really difference when it comes to the findings, since it has been like what, more than 10 years, probably, let's say, no, more than 10 years na nga nila by after that study was conducted, and there are so many changes na in our and innovations around the globe. So there should be different findings, or there should be new findings that should come up or come out in your research. So pwede sa na ninyo mahimong consideration ang years, no, or ang kung pila ang kung unsa nakadugay ang pinaka recent nga studies conducted about the topic. So that's the research gap. Furthermore, the purpose of the study, obviously this is already the overall purpose, no, is to provide awareness to students on how online game addiction can cause myriads of negative impacts, not only on their academic performance, but also to their mental and emotional functions. Also, the researchers are hopeful that the results of the study can be of help to educators in improving students' academic performances by addressing students' addiction to online games. So in here, guys, it's like answering the question, so what if we find out, or if we explored the experiences of these students? So what, no, kung mabawaan nimo kung unsa ilang challenges, unsa ilang experiences. So ilahan nang gibutang diri, no, unsa ilang purpose jud sa study. Now that is an example of rationale. This is 3 pages, but on your end, guys, you don't really have to have 3 pages. 2 pages is already enough, no, or 2.5, no, okay na. But 3 pages is already maximum. Do not have 4 or 5 pages of rationale. That's too lengthy already. If you have if ganahan ba jud ka mo discuss, then you have to summarize it. Or if there are so many information that you can provide in your rationale, pwede na ninyong i-discuss na lang dito sa related literature and studies, or pwede sa ninyong i-summarize na lang ang inyong idea. I'll be giving you a copy of this sample. Do you have any questions regarding rationale?
None, ma'am.
Okay, so we have a question from Raven here. Ma'am, if local is a scope, is it necessary to mention data as an international or national? I don't quite get this. Raven, can you please clarify this one? Ma'am, if local is scope, is it necessary to mention, sorry.
Hi ma'am, Claire. Sa example ni mo ma'am, I realized that the study mentioned data sa international and then naasid sa national and then local. So I'm wondering if maghimo na may kailangan naatanan sa
Yes,
international, national, and local.
yes. There should be international, national, and local sources, or
So
since it's
thank you
statistics.
ma'am.
All right. Thank you so much for clarifying that out, Raven. So let's proceed to theoretical background. All right. So theoretical background, guys. This of course explains your theories. Now that would support your study. And but before we also talk about theoretical background, let's get to know about a theory. What is a theory? So a theory is a substantiated explanation of an aspect of the natural world that can incorporate laws, hypotheses, and facts. A theory is a system of explanations that was according to amnh.org. Now, Merriam and Webster's dictionary define theory as a system of explanations that ties together a whole bunch of facts. It not only explains those facts but also predicts what you ought to find from other observations and experiments. So it not only explain, no, but also predict the possible things that would happen or possible things that you can find out no, in your observations and experiments. Now, if you're going to look at the two definitions here, the common word no, that really describes a theory is the word explanation. So basically, guys, a theory is an explanation of a certain thing no, or a certain subject that is based on facts. No, it wouldn't be regarded as a theory, or it wouldn't be recognized as a theory if the author failed to provide sufficient evidences or facts that would support or that would really um, what do you call that that would really support the theory or the assumption of the theory. No, so you would know that it is a theory because no, in in its title nadyo na apelido nga title. I'm sorry, nadyo na apelido nga theory. Okay, so like for example, Big Bang theory, um sa man self determination theory, um there are so many theories pa guys. um Learning theories daghan guys nga tanan, behavioral theories daghan sad guys nga tanan. Now again, you would know because na siya apelido nga theory, law, or even model. So pwede na ninyo magamit. Now, why do we have to write a theoretical background? Well, simply it's because it provides the background that supports your investigation and justification of your study on particular research problem to the reader. So by discussing theoretical background, it would give your readers, and of course, kamusad mga researchers, no, it would give you further and in-depth understanding about the topic, and probably also understand why certain things happen, how certain things happen, because that's the role of a theory. It explains why a certain phenomenon is happening, a certain natural thing is is happening, or how it happened. Now, when you write a theoretical background, these are the steps that you have to take note. No, first, of course, introduce the title of the theory, the full name of its proponent or author, and the year of publication. Mo na'y una ninyong buhaton. Then, you discuss the assumption of the theory. Now, I need you to listen carefully, guys. Your theory, guys, I hope that you are listening no, and you are not sleeping or you're not doing any other things. Um, when you look for theories later on, you wouldn't really expect nga makakita mo og theory that would directly explain your topic. Now, there are some topics nga naday embedded nga mga theories, dagan nga mga theories nga nag-explain ana, but there are also a lot of topics that doesn't have direct nga mga theories nga pwede nimong magamit. No? So, let's say for example, online game addiction. If online game addiction imuhang topic, you wouldn't really expect no nga you can find online game addiction theory or game theory or online game theory or addiction theory. No? Probably nana na sila karon batili kayo established, but you wouldn't really expect you do, please do not expect na naadayon mo'y makitaan nga theory, because you really have to read pa all these theories. No, of course, given that you are searching for correct key words and searching for theories, then of course it still involves a lot of reading pa before ka maka-decide nga okay, pwede na ko ning gamiton. Now again, theories, and there are certain topics no nga walay theories nga mudritso og discuss ana. So what you need to do is first, of course, read, no, and then analyze, internalize, and of course take note, no, para mahibaw-an jud nimo kung unsa joy assumption ani nga theory, and for you as well to decide if pwede ba nimo ni magamit to explain the phenomenon that you are trying to conduct a study about. No, for example, online game addiction. If actually pwede na akong gamitan og behaviorism theory by Albert Bandura. And behaviorism theory, oh, you might wonder, ma'am, behaviorism theory nga online game addiction man na, ma'am. So wala man siya kanang wala kay connect, no, if you are just going to look at the title of the theory. But behaviorism theory, just to summarize, no, kung unsa iyang gina assume or unsa iyang gina propose is that um people behavior sorry a person's behavior is formed through their environment. So kung unsay mo nakita, no, ang mo initial and mo basic foundation sa imuhang behavior formation. Ang unsay mong nakita sa uban, unsay nakita sa mong parents mo nang um if you have a kid, no, um kids are great imitators. So unsa may ilang makita siyang mama, iyang papa, unsay makita niya around him, na iyang mga kauban nga bata, etc. They would try to imitate that. And soon that imitation would turn a habit, and a habit turn into already part of them, no, and become that's how your behavior would be formed, no. Now, if I'm going to apply that to the context of online gaming, so I would said I would probably that would probably explain why there are so many students who are addicted to online games. Probably they started witnessing or watching their friends play online games, and they probably started developing curiosity about the game and tried it. And when they tried it, they were very interested about it, and their friends are also and he and their friends are also having really good times. It felt good, no, winning. It felt good playing with peers, no. um and most probably you are also influenced, no, at some point in your life to play the game, because probably ningon nimo mga classmates nga, ali lingaw kay ni siya sa tanan, duwa na kasuway nakagduwa ani, lingaw kay sa tanan, ali magduwa ta, etc. So you were influenced, and that influence um developed into routinely activities, probably, no, nga everyday na ka nanamoy hours nga kanus amo magplay, no, kay magkuan mo sa tournament or unsa pa na dira, no. And then it would become an addiction. So basically, firstly, no, the behaviorism theory does not at all discuss directly about online games or addiction, but I was able to integrate that behaviorism theory to the and apply it to the context of my study. Another example, if you are wondering ngano kaha, no, nga mga students karon, or not really the students but the younger ones, no, mga teenagers in general are very kanang kuan bitaw sayo kay na problema about their love lives, no. um Most of the time I would see on my Facebook kuan nga about nagmaoy sa love life, no, and having their crush or love life, sa you kind of broken hearted, etc. And you would start to wonder, haloy nagkabata naman ning mga naiuyab, nagkabata naman ning who are broken hearted, etc., no. And probably you may look for theories, no, makapangita tag theories that would explain nganong unani man, no. So the best theory that I can probably think of is katong kang Abraham Maslow's nga theory of basic needs, no, or the needs I'm sorry, humanistic needs theory by Abraham Maslow. Well, according to Abraham Maslow, the highest the need nimo, or the final need nimo as a person, is the self actualization, kanang pag-actualize sa inyong dreams, sa inyong goals. You wouldn't feel kana bitong complete unless imuha jung na acquire ang imuhang gusto nga, imuhang na achieve ang imuhang gusto nga, or imuhang dreams or imuhang goals in life. So you wouldn't be contented. It is a need for you, no. It feels like it would be a hollow para sa inyo, ha, kung panalitan dili nimo ma-attain ang goal or inyong dreams, no. And of course you cannot attend the or you cannot attain that goal if ever you don't have the self esteem, No, you don't have the belief in yourself, and you don't have that confidence that you can do the tasks, or that you are knowledgeable enough to execute the task, etc., or something like that, no, or to really perform in the real life situations. Now the problem is that you wouldn't have self-esteem unless you feel loved, and you feel that you belong to a certain group, society, or family. So that's the reason why na ang mga tao, maski pag gamay siya, or what, regardless of age, would really be kanang kung ano, would really need to feel the love. Now I'm not saying na you should kanang kung ano, you should um satisfy your need for love and belongingness to other, or to opposite sex, or to other people. You may actually try to understand, and your family, with your family, no, and probably um feel, no, kung unsa ka love sa imong family, etc., but it's case to case basis. It's difficult as well. But again, so that would tell us, that would actually give us the explanation why people are really looking for love, really catching, or really chasing for love, no. And if you have noticed, if you are going to read the Abraham Maslow's humanistic needs theory, it does not talk about at all about relationships, or ano, mga uyab-uyab, no, or something like that. But I was able to apply that in the context of my study, which is about, no, let's say, no, about relationships. So basically, kamo sad pohon, guys, when you write your theoretical background, you don't really expect nga dira dira dayon, no, makakita ka og theory nga ni diretso jud og discuss sa imong topic. So it needs, or it requires massive reading. So when you write your theoretical background, you have to discuss the assumption of the theory. So i-discuss dyan na nimo ang original niyang assumption without applying it yet to the context of your study. So for example, ganina nag-discuss ko o behaviorism theory. So i-discuss dyan ako purely kung unsa ang assumption sa behavioral theory, without explaining, or without touching first about online game addiction. So once kay mo na explain comprehensively kung unsay assumption sa theory, that's when you are going to discuss how the theory supports your study. So diri na nimo i-integrate or i-apply ang theory dira sa context sa imong study. Then, since I will be requiring you to have 2 to 3 theories, one main theory and at least one supporting theory, and I may ask you to add more theories if I think that your theories are not enough. So you just have to repeat the process, no? Introduce the second theory, discuss the assumption, and then apply to the context of your study. Once you're done with the second theory, introduce the third theory, discuss the assumption, and then also discuss how this theory supports your study. So 2 to 3 lang ka-theories, because I would not want as well for you to have a very lengthy theoretical background. But muna na ra ang imuhang pattern sa pag-write sa inyong theoretical background. Questions so far regarding theoretical background? Now,
Like,
how are you going to look for theories? So there are two things, no? First, search, no? For example, imong topic is katong online class. Let's say lang, no, online class theories. So you search mo online class theories, and then you will be provided with so many links, and of course you have to read, no, as much as possible, kay wala dyan may laing sources, guys, kundi ang internet, or ang kuan. So you may read these, no, and take note of the theories that came out, no. So na e-learning theory, connectivism, a theory of connectivism. So nanggawas ning mga unana, no. So you may read more by searching. For example, ni gawas man ninyo ning theory of connectivism. So imo nang i-search dito. Sorry. Wala di ay. Wala din ako na share. So for example, no, sa imo nang i-search na dira sa Google. And then you read articles. For example, na may nakitaan nga theory, kani theory of connectivism, and you wanted to know more about this, or you search for it, or search na ninyo, and try to really understand what the theory is all about. Then, or pwede sad mo moadto sa inyong mga related literature and related studies and see if unsa nga mga theories ang ilahang gipanggamit didto, kay basically kay related man sa inyo ha, so the same pareha-pareha mog topic. So pwede sa ninyong i-adopt ang ilahang theories nga gigamit to discuss the topic. Ha? So pwede na ninyong buhaton. You just have to be resourceful. And of course, it's important that you understand fully, you have the full grasp Jude, of what the theory is all about para you know how to apply this theory to the context of your study. Kabalo mo ma-explain. Kay kanang explanation nga part, no, kanang application nga part, kani siya nga part, no, kaning discuss how the theory can support your study, inyuhan ning own discussion. Na mo yung own nga discussion ani on how you think this can apply to the study. Sige, any questions so far, guys?
None, miss.
None? All right, let me show you a sample for theoretical background. We're running out of time. Sige lang. Theoretical background. So you have there, the study is anchored on reinforcement sensitivity theory and is supported by theory of flow and social cognitive theory. Now this again is talking about online game addiction. Now, if you look at the titles, no, wala dyan ay nag-mention dira og game addiction theory or something like that, no? So, um, una na sad mag-expect sa jud mo guys no nga dili jud dayon mo makakita og mga theories. You really have to be patient in reading and understanding a lot of articles and periodicals to understand and to decide which theory or what theories are best for your study. So in dire, yang gidiscuss pa no ang reinforcement sensitivity theory without discussing about or without wala niya gisagulan og discussion about online games, no? And then sa second paragraph, this is where gidiscuss na niya, no? Subsequently, the theory posits that the more one sees or games as rewards and satisfaction, the more they are reinforced to spend more time and efforts to play the game. When motivational systems are activated and too dominant, the students may focus on improving and winning the game, as the satisfaction from winning the game serves as their reward, while their loss is their punishment. Eventually, since games already are primary reinforcers of the students, they may already lack interests and will lose interest in any other activities, such as school activities that would lead to behavioral problems in school and poor academic performance. So, kana ang iyang explanation on how the theory can actually tell us more or support your study. And then, since human naman siya discuss and relate or apply sa first theory, o discuss na po siya sa second theory, which is flow theory, no? And then, discussion na yon, how the theory supports your study. Don't worry, I'll be giving you a copy of this sample. It's almost time though. Do you have questions so far, guys? Because I think with 1 minute, I can still answer your questions.
Sa related literature amoy nay kanang murag year restriction ma'am. Okay like murag sa theories ma'am kay wala ra.
Yes, the theories. But when you discuss the theories, you might still have to mention literature and studies, no? So you would still have to follow the 5-year recency or katong recency na to nga nasabutan nga 10 years. But with theories, no, ang established manggod nga mga studies, established manggod nga mga theories are really from 19 1980s, 1990s, no, or uh, early 2000. So no, for theories alone, ha, theories lang. But kung i-discuss na nimo ang theories with supporting nga mga literatures, you would still have to consider the 10-year recency nga atong nasabutan.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
All right. So it's all already time, guys. Now, if you have questions, just park your questions, take note of that, and then ask it on Wednesday as we continue our discussion for the introduction. All right. Thank you so much, guys, for joining the class. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Bye bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye-bye.
Thank